Now that we have completed all the definitions, all the connections in the first section of Unity in Motion, we would like to clarify and also refine a connection that we just learned, the connection of Earth, as it occurs in the first movement of Unity in Motion. Remember the first Unity in Motion, we learned it coming back to the place called suspended wave and arriving to foundation and then unfolding to crown. And then the first movement from the unfolding to crown that allowed me to raise the energy all the way to the top of the head begins with the definition of Earth right here, from which then the inflowing wave brings me back into suspended wave, descending to foundation, and then outflowing wave. So the sphere of Earth allow me from crown, allow me to descend from the crown to the center of the head, and the head moving forward, and then allow the beginning of the inner arc. So the fullest extension in the sphere of Earth becomes the inner arc, and then the energy races from the pelvic floor, which has descended from the crown to the pelvic floor, races to the level of the solar plexus and the suspended wave, and then from the level of the solar plexus descending to foundation again to go to crown. Beautiful. Now, once I arrive to the level of suspended wave, which is the level of the solar plexus, the pure vertical extension and the center of space imply that I'm already back in crown. So from the crown of Unity in Motion, the outflowing way to crown, the sphere of Earth allow me to descend to the pelvic floor, ascend to the center of the solar plexus and the crown, and then descend back into foundation in order to get to crown. The reason is because remember that the movement's always ascending to the crown, descending to foundation, ascending to the crown. So the movement allow me to make the gravitational transfer or the gravitational expansion that is the moving center of gravity. This is suspended wave, descending, ascending, outflowing wave, and crown. Okay? Now, in the movements, there is another definition of Earth, and we call that definition of Earth forward Earth. And the reason that this definition exists is because as we define the outer mandala, remember when we go to Earth and then we go to expansion and we go to heaven and then we open the mandala, when we learn the outer mandala from the outer form, we go to the forward Earth, which is in this definition, because this definition allows the skeletal relationship of the whole body to be centralized in the shoulder girdle and the whole of the inner arc and the pelvic floor. So the beginning, opening of the mandala, occurs from the pelvic floor and it gets directed through the spine to expansion and heaven and so forth. So listen, I'm going to do a few times now, going to Earth to unfold the mandala. From foundation, unfolding to Earth, riding the wave into expansion. Beautiful. And then mandala crown, inflowing wave, which is suspended wave, descending, unfolding wave, Earth, expansion. And you will begin to notice that the reason that we go to the forward Earth here when we define the outer mandala is because if we were to go to the side Earth, which is right here where crown is, right here, if we go to side Earth and we're trying to open the mandala from then, the actual direction of the arms will close the spine. It will create resistance between the shoulder girdle and the rib cage and the neck, and everything will become crystallized. So we will not be able to find the path that suspends the spine in its vertical direction. So forward Earth is the connection that allows me to move from the pelvic floor into the definition of the outer mandala. All right? So remember, and all this will become more clear as you practice these movements and all the movements of Unity in Motion, that there's two definitions of Earth. Side Earth, which is the direct continuation of crown, or as you arrive into the mandala, the outer mandala, you touch mandala crown, and that's the beginning of Earth. And then the Earth that occurs as you unfold the mandala from down, up, into all heaven, and so on. Okay? So that will become, as I said, more clear as you practice, but this is important, the remembrance, 2 definitions of earth. Now that we have defined the 2 spheres of earth, side earth as a continuation of crown and mandala crown, and forward earth as being the beginning of the definition of the outer mandala, we can return and review the 19 connections of unity in motion. At the beginning, it's easy to remember the 19 connections if you think of them as being 8 diamonds, 6 arcs, and 5 spheres. The 8 diamonds are, as we began to learn in the first movement of unity in motion, exists, the first diamond exists, and the definition of foundation, which is in the first movement of unity in motion, ending in crown. Remember, we come to suspended wave, arrive to foundation, and then go to crown. That was the first diamond. The second diamond, as you ascend through centers, is defining, and it's called central heart. The definition of the solar plexus, the heart, and the center of space. That was the second diamond. The third diamond takes place from foundation, ascending through centers, and it becomes the suspended diamond. The suspended diamond releases the throat, connects the centering of the head and the crown. That was the third diamond occurring in the third movement. Now, the fourth diamond occurring in the fourth movement is ascending through centers and is becoming central crown, which is the outer arc of the spine, the farthest extension of the spinal column, defining the center of the head and the crown. The fifth diamond then becomes moving heart. Remember, it's a little bit of an inner arc connecting the center of your heart to the pelvic floor. Then from then you return to central crown, and now you go into the sixth diamond, which is the diamond of self. Remember, the center of space, the giving and receiving. Yeah, that was the sixth diamond. The seventh diamond occurred in the release of earth. Remember that we went defined earth the first time, and then the second time that we defined earth, we release earth and foundation, and then circling of the spiral, in which we arrive to this diamond that is called suspended balance. This diamond, if you see it from above, forward, it will look like here, like in this displacement. And what it does is that opens and suspends the shoulder girdle, so the spine can release circularly without having to close in or to lock into itself. So this is called suspended balance. And then that will be the seventh. And now the eighth diamond occur in the release of touching balance, which you will practice in the first section when we do it standing up. And the release of touching balance is you release all the energy through the spine as you're moving through the seven centers, and you touch the floor. It's like a circle connection again of the whole spine. It's a diamond in the sense that suspends the shoulder girdle. It connects you to your legs completely, and then from there is when you're unfolding the energy and you're raising through the outer mandala. That is the 8 diamonds that you're learning. Okay, those, remember, 8 diamonds. Now let's review the 6 arcs. An arc, as we explained to you earlier, but it's good to repeat it again, is an extension of the arms that is devoid of any locking between the joints. This is important because sometimes we think that a stretch means like pressure within the joints in order to extend, but when we do that, everything constructs back into it. The socket joint and the shoulder girdle comes into itself, and it pushes the spine actually forward. So in reality, I feel that I'm extending, but in truth, I'm contracting within. So an arc really is a connection existing between the hand, lower arm, and upper arms, in which the joints are not locked, but they are extended within the formation of the free segments. So the formation of extension is infinite in the sense that it begins in the center of your heart and it goes into a space as it is devoid of any inward locking. Okay? The first arc We learn it when we begin to define the outer mandala. And it comes from the inner mandala in infinity's gate, and it defines infinity. That's the arc of infinity. The arc of infinity is a transversal connection between arms and legs, releasing the spine into the outer arc. Then the second arc is expansion, which is the fullest extension within the center of your heart as it connects to infinite space. Then the third arc is mandala crown, which is the continuation of the mandala arriving to mandala crown. The fourth arc is horizon, the arc of horizon. Remember, like a letter U connecting the heart and connecting you to the center of space. And then the fifth arc is actually crown. Wonderful. The arc of crown. The arc of crown is different than mandala crown. Remember that in earth we have two earth. We have side earth and forward earth. The same is happening with crown. We have crown of the unity in motion, the movement of unity in motion, in which we consciously define the whole centering and extension of the top of the head. And then we have mandala crown, which is the continuation of the mandala as it moves in space. That it is in the range of motion, is in the range of vision, is more in the plane of direction in which you're moving. So this is mandala crown, and this is crown as unity in motion. That's the fifth arc. The sixth arc and last arc occur in the forward release. Remember that we went all the way to heaven, and then we do, in the last motion, we do the forward release. And in here, we are extending almost as if we were to infinity to release and extend the whole spine. This is an arc again that's connecting me transversally inside of me and releases all the vertebrae of the spine. This is when we swing into it and we come back to foundation, and then we open from infinity's gate to infinity, and we complete the mandala in that motion. Yeah, so those are the 6 arcs. Beautiful. Yeah, that was the 5 spheres are the sphere of moon, which is the opening of my heart, and the right and the left of my torso as it is extended in relation to front and back. Then the sphere of sun, which is the widest extension, circular extension within my torso, centralized at the heart. This sphere, we touch it. We learn more in the second section, but we touched this sphere when we did the spherical mandala. Remember that we went from heaven and we did many countless spheres until we get to the sphere of sun, and then we reverse the direction to return to the sphere of earth. So sun is the second sphere, and then from then we go to the sphere of heaven. The sphere of heaven is another sphere that allows for the outer arc of my spine to be fully extended. It interconnects me transversally between arms and legs at the same time. And it's a wonderful sphere because it's the fullest extension of your being, again, in a vertical direction. So remember that heaven, moon, and earth are almost the same size. One is the earth mirrors heaven, heaven above, earth below, and then in the center you have moon. Yeah? So from heaven then, we have the 4th sphere, which is mandala crown, which you just learned. The continuation of mandala crown becomes the sphere of earth, which is the beginning of the inflowing wave to get you to suspend the wave to foundation. Yeah? And now the last sphere is forward. The sphere of earth, right here, which is the sphere of earth from which the mandala begins from the pelvic floor to go all the way up through outer inner mandala. Yeah? So remember again, 8 diamonds, 6 arcs, and 5 spheres. Wonderful.